So if I Google this stuff, I can find lots of information on what to do if you cry during an interview, or, if you're a hiring manager and somebody you're interviewing starts to cry, what you should do. But I cannot find a single thing by anybody on what you should do when the recruiter starts to break down and cry during your interview, which is what happened to me earlier. I just don't know what to do about this. In the moment, I tried to do what I could to show empathy and, kind of be supportive as best I could given the situation. But I honestly don't know what to do when it comes to random recruiters that I'm talking to suddenly just breaking down and crying. And I look back at what happened and I go, well, I did exactly what she asked me to do. She asked me for explicit, candid feedback on the process so far. So I gave it to her. No holes barred, 100% pure feedback. Exactly like somebody like me who has been in SDET and has been in QA and, managed teams of developers gives feedback. And then she started crying, which is weird because I didn't use any swear words or anything. I was completely professional. And she just broke down and started bawling. And I have to wonder, is it possible that the feedback I gave was too harsh? No, it's the recruiters that are wrong. Or at least that's the thinking, right? But in actuality, maybe I was too harsh. Maybe she asked for feedback not expecting to get actual, real, legitimate feedback. Because when I started pointing out all the logical fallacies involved and explained from a purely rational perspective, why would you do A if B and C? That seemed to be too much for her. And so, I don't know. Maybe I am at fault. Maybe in this situation, I was a complete asshole. And if that's the case, like I said to her, I'm sorry. But you can't ask for my 100% no holds barred feedback and then expect me not to give it to you. If you tell me, no, it's okay, I won't take offense. Just tell me the truth. And you explicitly say, I would like your 100% no holds barred feedback. And I give it to you and you start breaking down and crying. Well, I'm going to have to assume that you weren't ready for my feedback. And that's a problem because I was kind, I was succinct, I was professional, I didn't use any swear words, and I still brought a FANG recruiter to tears. And it's after 5, so my workday's over. But yeah, maybe she had some other stuff that was outside of my interview. Because when she called me, she seemed happy. She seemed interested in feedback. She seemed interested in my impression of things. And she wasn't happy when I said I didn't feel good about it. She wasn't happy when I pointed out all the problems in the process and said, well, if your intention is to have a process that anybody can go through, then I have to call out the fact that you're filtering out the blind and you're filtering out the deaf through that process explicitly. I was just being honest. And now that I think about it, maybe she started crying because she realized that I had just proven that to her with my explanation. Maybe she wasn't crying about what I said, but by the reality that I had pointed out, which was that her company has for years used the same process. And the entire time, they have been discriminating against the blind and the disabled by default. And so, me not being able to hear well during one call and needing, uh, a real time transcription of what was said that I could read with my good eye, so I could actually follow along with people who seem to have bad reception. Maybe it helps, maybe it doesn't. But I made a Fang recruiter cry, and I haven't done that in a number of years. And there's this part of me that's wondering, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Is it a good thing that she cried? Because if she was crying because of the realization that her process needed to change, and she was accepting that and going through that emotional catharsis, then technically it could be a good thing. But if she was the designer of that process, hmm, what do you think?